Welcome back again to 30 Lessons in My 30 Years of Living with Camilla. We're going to go ahead and grab our favorite beverage, whether that's coffee, tea, margarita, martini, cosmopolitan, whatever you like. And we're going to talk about lessons and self growth today. We're going to focus on self growth and have a very organic, deep conversation. And please feel free to subscribe, or if you have any comments, or if you would like me to expand on one of these lessons, I would be happy to. But let's go right into the lessons. Let's start with lesson number one, which is self awareness is a lifelong skill. So that's just something that I've learned over the time of my life. It doesn't come right away. I was not always as self-aware as I am today. So, I always believed in people. I thought that they had my best, um, you know, my benefit in their mind. They wanted to make sure that, they were nice to me and good to me. However, that wasn't the case. A lot of the times I've experienced heartbreaking friendships because of the different um because I let people get away with things, right? So again, I always believed that people were really good deep inside, or always look for the goodness in their hearts. And again, it took me a little bit, took me a few years to get here. This is why today I say that it's really, really important to be self-aware. And how did I get here? Right? It wasn't just by chance. It was a lot of journaling, a lot of self-growth, a lot of boundary setting, just sort of like what we talked about last time a little bit. But basically, self awareness is going to be very important, and you expand on it little by little each day. But the one thing that I will make sure to say is that you have to be willing to put in the work, right? It's not just going to come to you. You have to be willing to put in the work every day. Some days you may not feel like it, and that's okay. But ideally, you want to make sure that you are setting that time, conscious time, to put in that work. So that's number one. Number two, your mental health deserves the utmost attention. And that goes for everything, whether it's, your job, your friendships, relationships, anything in life. It is really, really, really important that you are paying attention to your mental health. A lot of people do not do that. A lot of people just say, oh, it's okay. I'm going to work really hard and I'm just going to focus on my other goals. That's fine. You can focus on your other goals, but I think it's really, really important that we are paying attention when we start feeling off. Make sure whether it's like, you get a therapist or you have a group of friends or a group of trusted people. It's really important to know when you are feeling burnt out and to really get back to center. Whenever I'm slipping up, whether it's like I'm focusing too much or I'm caring too much about what other people are saying and so on, it's important to kind of get back to center and have those trusted people in your life to talk to. So that's number two. Number three, saying no, right? Saying no is a form of self-respect. It is so important to know when that's it. You've had enough, right? Whether that is, oh, somebody invited me to dinner. I actually have to work on a project. I actually have to work on my homework. I have to get some really good rest because I have a huge project the next day. Or whether it's, hey, I really need this time to myself. It's important. Make sure saying no is it really is going to transform your life. And this is coming from a people pleaser, right? And again, I'm not healed from people pleasing. I'm doing really well from, my past years. Um, where I would put myself on the back burner and I'll make sure everyone is getting what they want and saying yes to different people. And no, 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 no. You are important in what you're doing. And so saying no, right, to different plans, or, whether it's like someone's inviting you and you're really working your financial life right now and you don't want to be spending all this much money going out, rain check next time. Or, also make sure that people are inviting you to plans that you're willing to go to. Don't just go out with people, right? Just to make them happy, right? What about you? What about what you want? So really, really important to say no. Number four, comparison is a thief of joy. How many of us do find ourselves scrolling on social media, looking at these amazing different people, whether it's like, oh, someone's going on this amazing vacation, someone's going, you know, they got these amazing degrees and they're going back to school and that's great. This person's having a child, this person, got married, whatever, whatever, right? Comparing ourselves is going to steal our joy. Take a step back and analyze. And sometimes it even means taking a break from social media, right? Whether you're like, hey, I've had too much scrolling time. I just want to have, some days to myself. I know a good friend of mine. Um, does like social media breaks for like a month at a time, maybe a few times a year, 2 or 3 times a year. And again, that's one way to go about it. Another way is to maybe focus on, for example, I on YouTube, I do learn a lot. So I do listen to, audiobooks and so on. So I usually am on YouTube where I just kind of play it in the background, which is very different from scrolling, right? When we're just scrolling all day. But even that, like when I listen to YouTube and I'm listening to a lot of amazing books, however, it can be depleting in energy. So sometimes I just find myself like, okay, I've been spending too much time this week. I'm going to pay attention to my other goals and what I'm doing. So again, everyone's different. We're all on different journeys, but I think comparing ourselves to other people, it's always going to steal our joy. It's not going to give us anything great. It's really important to compare ourselves to the version we were yesterday. That's what we should be doing, right? So who we were, who we are today, we're always growing, we're doing better, and looking at that growth that we have, that's really, really important. Number 5, rest is productive. So, you want to make sure that you are getting all the rest you can. Where are my autoimmune girlies here? I've had a lot of thyroid issues, and I'd be happy to talk more about that if you all like. And I do plan to do that because there's a lot that I've learned in the past 4 years of dealing with those issues and where I am today. I'm still haven't healed them fully. However, I am doing 70-80% better than I was, which is huge. It's huge. There were days where I was crying and just feeling so, so bad. So I want to say that rest is so important. Rest is amazing. Rest has gotten me to a better place. Learning how to say, hey, this is too much for me. I'm not doing this project. I'm not participating in this. I'm getting out of this, whether it's like a friend group, whether it's a friend that exhausts me. I'm sorry, I'm not hanging out with you. I have to pay attention to me and what I need. So that has been hugely important to know when to say no and also when to know that it's time to rest. Rest is productive. It's not the other way around. We are supposed to sleep, get our beauty sleep, 8 hours, especially women. There's been studies that we need, I believe it's like 9 hours instead of men, that they need about 8, maybe 7 to 8, I believe. Don't quote me on that. However, really, really important for us to get our rest. So that's number 5. Number 6, your values matter more than other people's expectations. And I think that comes with time, right? The older we get, the more we know ourselves, the more comfortable we are saying no, the more comfortable we are with expressing our needs and what we want. And honestly, just knowing what we want. And a lot of times people struggle even with that. So whether it's like you have to take some time this week and just kind of write down, like take a minute, take an hour or two during the week and just say, like, what actually excites me? What makes me happy? What people bring, whether it's like people, projects, the job, school, whatever, right? Write down what's important to you and what makes you happy. Um, that's going to make a huge difference. So that's number 6. Number 7, healing isn't linear and setbacks are going to happen, but they don't mean that you are not growing and you're not making progress in your goals. I think that a lot of the healing, depending on the time, depending, like I said, for example, you're working, let's say, on your relationships, and all of a sudden your health is taking a turn and you're paying attention to that. Sometimes we only have 24 hours in a day, right? So we have to figure out what takes a priority at what time. And I think it's really important for people to know when to take a step back and say, look, right now it's important for me to pay attention to my health, and then once I'm at a better place here, then I can also pay attention to these other parts of my life. So I think that a lot of people are afraid to take that time and pay attention to what they're doing, and what they need, right? So again, just taking a step back, saying, look, I'm still healing. It may take a little bit longer than I thought, but I'm doing better than I was yesterday. And I think that's a win, right? I remember I was doing yoga with Adrienne. This was like in 2021. And some days I just didn't feel like it. And she would just say, just show up, just show up. And even if that means just laying on your mat and just being there. Like, you don't even have to do anything, just be there for that 45 minutes or 30 minutes. Um, that was very healing. So I would show up, and some days when I didn't feel like it, I would just like lay there, and then I would just do one or two things, and then I would just start getting into it, right? So again, it even if you show up and you're just like you're just there, that's okay too, right? So I think having a lot of compassion for yourself is going to make a huge difference when it comes to that healing. So number 8, you outgrow versions of yourself, and that is okay. So think about it, right? Like during our lives, depending on if we're going to school, we have these huge groups of friends, and we have to do certain things or be part of this project. And sometimes we have to deal with people by association. But as we grow, we go to college, our friend group changes again. Then we're graduating. All of a sudden, when I graduated, I found myself, all my friends are going to different states. I'm sort of like, okay, I do have these other friends here, maybe falling back to high school friends, and then I realized I had outgrown them. So then again, letting go of those friendships, then kind of find new friendships, like maybe through my job or projects that I was part of. So I think that it's important to know when it's time to just be like, hey, this version of me is no longer here, and that's okay. I will let it go with grace, and I will pay attention to what I need, right? To what is important to me in this new chapter of my life. And sometimes it's even chapters. I know I have friends that are moms now, and I understand sometimes they don't have time to hang out with me, and that's completely okay. So I think also keeping people in your life that understand that new versions of you maybe need more rest. It can even mean like words of affirmation, someone that's there for you, and even someone that doesn't nag you. That's huge. So again, being around people that are willing to accept those new versions of yourself, that's going to be very important. And again, that kind of goes back to self-awareness, that we grow as we go, right? So that's number 8. Number 9, confidence comes after action, not before, right? This hits me, right? When I say that out loud, I'm like, oh, I'm still learning this. Because even when it comes to creating YouTube and being out here talking with you all and sharing my thoughts, sharing what I've gone through, and we're going to dive deeper into different areas of my life, and I'm happy to share those with you all. But I do think about that, and I do think about the fact that confidence it's going to get better with time, right? And I think that when I first, I knew I wanted to do this for so long, for a few years back. And I remember I used to think like, oh, like one day I'm going to wake up and I'm just going to want to do it. And it was nothing like that. It was sort of like, I have to just like start. And I'm going to start from what I know. And then as I go through this project and as I go through this healing work and, I become a better version of myself, more confident, I will sort of get there. But I have to start, right? So sometimes it's really important to start with what we have instead of this like perfect version of ourselves that we have in our mind. That's, some that we think is just going to be like amazing. And again, we're all wonderful in our own ways, but sometimes we do have to do that work and just get up and do it mad, do it sad, do it tired, right? We just got to kind of go in and get things done. And number 10, happiness comes from habits. It doesn't come from the big moments. And I think that a lot of people are looking to be happy without just they're looking for this amazing happiness to come into their lives, and once it does, and they're going to be able to do this and that in their life, and that's not the case. Usually we are slowly, right, depending on our habits, showing up for ourselves, that's going to create happiness. So we have to first we have to look at what makes us happy, what are we passionate about, what do we want to do in this life, what are the changes we want to create, what are the changes we want to make. And then once we kind of figure that out, and again, it's not always linear, like we talked about, same thing with healing. The same happens with our goals. It's kind of gonna, once we try a few different things, we say, hey, this goal is really for me, this one is not for me, and then we just kind of sort of gravitate towards the goals that we're looking to do, and the goals that we're really good at as well. So I think it's like a combination of multiple things. And especially for if anyone is younger here today, and they're sort of struggling, or of where am I going to be in life, or goals, or career, and so on. And I think we are always learning. This is something I always say. We're always learning, and we're growing through all the different projects, school, college, people we meet, people that tell us their story. And I think with all of this different type of growth, we're going to be able to navigate as we go. Nothing, and really, people say sometimes, why did I work that job? The job, it was awful. I'm sure you still learn, whether it's to navigate a toxic workplace, right? That's still growth. You're learning to navigate people, to navigate tough personality. So I think it's really important that we show up for ourselves with consistency, and that's going to build happiness over time, right? It's going to build respect as well for ourselves. So again, these were my 10 tips for today for growth. Again, lessons I've learned over the time of my life, and I'm learning, I'm growing as a person every day. But I really hope this helps, and we're gonna see you. I'm gonna see you again here with my other lessons, and then we're gonna dive deeper into other issues. But that's it for today. So bye, all.